The morning sun rose over Jetavana Monastery, bathing its gardens in a golden hue, promising serenity to all who came. Disciples gathered near the Buddha, whose tranquil presence drew them closer, seeking wisdom and solace amid their worldly struggles. Sariputra approached, bowing low before the Buddha, his face etched with sorrow, carrying the weight of unforgiveness upon his heart. "Blessed One," Sariputra began, voice trembling, "I cannot forgive a fellow monk who has wronged me deeply. Anger consumes my spirit." The Buddha, sitting beneath the shade of a Bodhi tree, gazed at Sariputra with infinite compassion, his eyes calm and warm. He gestured for Ananda to sit and began his teaching. "Ananda," the Buddha said, "imagine a man holding a red-hot coal in his hand, intending to throw it at another." His voice was soft but carried profound weight, like the rhythm of ancient wisdom. "Does the man not burn his hand before he hurls the coal?" Ananda nodded, his face reflecting the dawning realization. "The rock is your grudge, Sariputra, a choice to bear the pain rather than release it, a bondage of your making. Unforgiveness hardens the heart, blinds the mind, and traps the soul in a cycle of suffering that benefits no one. Anger, my dear Ananda, is like that red-hot coal," the Buddha continued. "It harms the one who holds it most. Behold the river, Sariputra, ever moving, never clinging to the past, welcoming each moment anew. Forgiveness must flow like this river. The first way to avoid holding grudges is to cultivate mindfulness, observing emotions without judgment, letting them come and go. Anger, when observed as fleeting and impermanent, loses its hold on the heart, much like shadows fleeing before the dawn. Mindfulness begins with awareness, Sariputra, noticing the sensations of anger, the tension it creates, and the thoughts it weaves. When you become aware, you no longer feed anger's fire. Instead, you see its nature as transient, dissolving with your breath." The Buddha closed his eyes momentarily, breathing deeply, demonstrating the simplicity and power of mindfulness to the gathered disciples. "Do not feed anger with thoughts of resentment," the Buddha said. "Starve it of attention, and it shall wither like an untended flame. Release it as you would release the flowing river's waters. Forgiveness is not an excuse for the wrong but a liberation from the poison anger spreads within. It frees the soul." Sariputra opened his eyes, a glimmer of peace reflected within them, his heart beginning to lighten from the teachings of the Buddha. He let the leaf fall from his fingers, its descent graceful and unresisted. "Let go of anger as you would release a leaf to the wind. Do not clutch it, for it is not yours to keep." The leaf landed softly on the earth, a symbol of the peace that comes with release. In the stillness, Sariputra felt the weight of his grudge start to lift, replaced by the soothing presence of mindfulness and peace. The Buddha, wise and compassionate, offered his teachings freely, guiding his disciples toward liberation from the burdens of the ego's entrapments. "Anger arises from the illusion of control," he said, "the belief that the world should align with our desires." He gestured to the flowing river nearby, its waters glistening with the light of acceptance. "Master, your words are a balm to my wounds, a light to my darkness. I will honor this path with dedication." Another day dawned, the golden sunlight spilling over the monastery's peaceful courtyards as disciples assembled for the Buddha's teachings. The morning air carried the soft fragrance of blossoming flowers, and the gentle hum of nature filled the serene atmosphere. The Buddha, seated beneath a magnificent Bodhi tree, surveyed his eager disciples with a serene yet deeply compassionate gaze. "Compassion," he began, "is the lifeblood of trust." The river flowed on, its waters unceasingly embracing the present moment, a timeless reminder of the freedom forgiveness brings to all. Another day dawned over Jetavana Monastery, its gardens alive with the songs of birds and the tranquil rustling of leaves. The disciples assembled under a grand banyan tree, seeking refuge in the Buddha's wisdom, their hearts heavy with unresolved conflicts. Mahakashyapa, a revered monk, approached the Buddha with solemnity, his face marked by the torment of festering resentment toward another. Master, Mahakashyapa began, bowing deeply, I strive to forgive, yet hatred rekindles like fire. How do I extinguish its consuming flames? The Buddha, seated gracefully, reached for a nearby cup of water, his expression serene, ready to impart his profound teachings. He poured a handful of salt into the cup and handed it to Mahakashyapa, instructing him, drink this water, dear monk. Mahakashyapa sipped from the cup and winced, his face contorted by the bitterness, unable to swallow more of the salted water. This water is bitter, Master, Mahakashyapa said, his voice laced with discomfort, the salt overwhelming his senses. Unfit for consumption. The Buddha nodded, his eyes filled with understanding, then led the disciples to a vast and glistening lake nearby. With the same act, the Buddha sprinkled salt into the lake's waters and said, drink from this lake, Mahakashyapa, and tell me. Mahakashyapa drank from the lake, its sweet and refreshing waters washing away the bitterness, rejuvenating his spirit with their purity. Master, the water is sweet and nourishing, untainted by the salt. The bitterness is dissolved, Mahakashyapa exclaimed. His heart lightened, the Buddha's smile deepened, his teaching unveiled. Hatred, like salt, poisons the mind when confined to the small vessel of self, but when the self dissolves into the vastness of compassion, hatred loses its sting. Like salt scattered in a great lake, holding hatred is like trying to drink bitter water, harming yourself with the poison meant for another, eroding your inner peace. Mahakashyapa listened intently, his soul yearning for release from hatred's grip, his heart opening to the wisdom the Buddha shared. The second way to avoid grudges is to expand your heart with compassion. Embracing the pain and suffering of others, compassion is the antidote to hatred, for it transforms anger into understanding, offering solace to both giver and receiver alike. Imagine the one who wronged you, Mahakashyapa, their own pain fueling their actions, their suffering echoing in their hurtful deeds. By recognizing their pain, you open the door to forgiveness, extending the hand of compassion to bridge the gap of separation. The Buddha's voice carried the truth, his words resonating deeply within the disciples, each finding meaning within the teachings of compassion. Mahakashyapa bowed his head, tears streaming, his heart softened by the Buddha's guidance, the bitterness of hatred replaced by understanding. Master, your teachings have shown me the way. I will nurture compassion and let it flow, dissolving hatred's bitter flames. The disciples meditated together, their breaths harmonious, the tranquility of the banyan tree enveloping them, fostering the seeds of compassion. The Buddha closed his eyes, embodying the vastness of compassion, his essence merging with the stillness of the moment. A living example, Mahakashyapa envisioned the face of the monk he resented, imagining the sorrow within him, dissolving the wall that hatred had built. Through compassion, Mahakashyapa began to feel lighter, his burden lessened, his heart expanding, encompassing the vastness the Buddha had described. As the day unfolded, the disciples carried the Buddha's teachings into their hearts, practicing compassion to mend the wounds of conflict. The lake's waters sparkled in the sunlight, a timeless reminder of the Buddha's wisdom, a metaphor for the transformation of the soul. Compassion flowed through the monastery, a gentle stream washing away bitterness, rekindling bonds, and uniting the disciples in shared understanding. Mahakashyapa bowed deeply before the Buddha, gratitude overflowing, his commitment to practicing compassion fortified by the teachings he had received. Master, I will carry this wisdom wherever I go, nurturing compassion and spreading its light to heal broken spirits, Mahakashyapa vowed. The Buddha placed his hand on Mahakashyapa's shoulder, a gesture of reassurance and encouragement, his smile a beacon of hope. Compassion, dear monk, is limitless, a practice that requires daily cultivation, offering peace to all who embrace it without reservation. The banyan tree stood strong, its shade sheltering the disciples, a witness to the profound lessons of compassion gifted by the Buddha. The bitterness of hatred faded, replaced by the sweetness of understanding. As the disciples continued their journey toward inner peace, the lake remained a symbol, its waters vast and pure, a mirror to the compassion the Buddha urged them all to cultivate. Another day unfolded with gentle rain caressing the grounds of Jetavana Monastery, filling the air with the fragrance of earth. Disciples gathered in the shelter of the main hall, their eyes seeking the Buddha, whose wisdom was their eternal guide. A merchant named Ananda approached the Buddha, his face marked by despair, carrying the burden of a grievous wrong done. Master, Ananda began, his voice breaking, a rival destroyed my business and defamed my name. I cannot forgive, it consumes me. The Buddha, seated in quiet contemplation, plucked a withered leaf from the ground and handed it to Ananda without a word. Hold this leaf tightly in your fist, Ananda, the Buddha instructed, his serene gaze inviting the merchant to trust in his guidance. Ananda obeyed, clenching the brittle leaf in his hand, feeling its fragility crumble under the strength of his tightening grip. Now open your hand, the Buddha said softly, watching as Ananda unclenched his fist, the fragments of the leaf falling away. The wind carried the fragments, scattering them into the open air, freeing Ananda from the remnants of what he once held. Ananda, the Buddha began, his voice gentle but firm. The third way to avoid grudges is through the practice of detachment. When you cling tightly to past wrongs, you trap yourself in their power, unable to move forward with peace and clarity. The more you grasp, the more it consumes you, like holding on to fire, burning only your hand, not the one who harmed. The merchant departed, his steps lighter than when he had arrived, his mind unshackled from the chains of resentment. The disciples remained, their minds reflecting upon the timeless wisdom imparted by the Buddha. Master, how do I let go of the past when its weight feels so heavy and its wounds remain fresh? Ananda asked. The Buddha pointed to the rain outside, its drops falling steadily, nourishing the earth without attachment to where they land. Be like the rain, Ananda, the Buddha said. It gives freely, nourishing the earth, then moves on without clinging to its purpose. Detachment does not mean forgetting the lessons of the past, it means not allowing those lessons to hold your heart prisoner. Forgiveness, Ananda, is an act of releasing yourself from the chains of the past, allowing healing to flow like the rain. Ananda closed his eyes, visualizing his rival, his hatred softening as he imagined the wind carrying away his grievances, freeing his spirit. The disciples meditated together, the sound of rain creating a symphony of tranquility, each reflecting on the wisdom the Buddha shared. Ananda felt the weight of his anger begin to dissipate, his breath deepening, his heart lightening, the beginnings of forgiveness stirring. The wind does not mourn the leaf it carries away, the Buddha said. Likewise, let go of your attachment to pain. Ananda bowed deeply before the Buddha, his voice trembling with gratitude. Master, your teachings are a light in my darkness. I am freed. The Buddha smiled gently, his expression one of infinite understanding. Knowing that Ananda had taken the first steps toward liberation, detachment, Ananda, is a daily practice, not a single act. Approach it with patience and compassion, and you will find peace. The rain continued its gentle descent, the monastery soaked in its nurturing presence. A metaphor for the cleansing nature of forgiveness. It is the light within the mind, he continued, that reveals the interconnectedness of all beings and the truth of their nature. With detachment comes the ability to serve others selflessly, fostering trust that transcends the fleeting bonds of superficial connection. Let each of you practice letting go of past wrongs, that you may walk the path of harmony and compassion with ease. The disciples bowed in unison, their commitment to the Buddha's teachings unwavering, their spirits aligned with the wisdom of detachment. Release the need to change others, and you shall find peace within. He pointed to the flowing river, its waters gliding gracefully over rocks and debris in its path. Observe the river, he said, how it embraces all that it encounters without resistance or judgment. The disciples followed his gaze, the harmony of nature mirroring the essence of his teachings. The wind carried the echoes of the Buddha's teachings far and wide. A symbol of the peace found in detachment and forgiveness, the gardens of Jetavana Monastery thrived, nourished by the rain, a reflection of the flourishing spirits of those who embraced the Buddha's words. Master, she said, I understand now that peace lies in acceptance, not in the transformation of others. How shall I practice this? The Buddha gestured to the fertile soil beneath the Bodhi tree, his movements imbued with intention and purpose. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.